If you are a powerful woman, a high achiever, a high producer, a high performer that always seems to have it all together, but inside you know that that's not actually really how you always feel, this video is for you. And my hope is that you will not only see yourself, you will also receive some nuggets and some ideas and some invitations. I am you. I am raised by a single mom, mixed race, Mexican American woman, in every environment where really, in so many ways, nobody was like me, and did not realize, like so many of us growing up, that that was what was a big piece underneath all of my hyperachievement and proving and overproducing energy, because I was always trying to keep up with kids that had a lot more than me, where the starting line was not the same. And it's also just very much the experience of women, women that want to participate in the full world that has, we haven't, not only have we not been fully welcome, but the situation is not equitable. And so all of that has created a lot of this, the patriarchy has created a lot of these ways of being that so many of us are really inhabiting all the time. And the thing that prompted me in sharing this, so for me, my name's Jennifer. If you don't know me, if you're new to my channel, um, I am started I started posting daily long form on February 2nd and was on a good run. And then I got too in my head about everything and I was trying to figure it out, that figuring it out energy, that those, we are highly capable women. And I got off track. And so I started again on May 1st, posting every single day. And I'm still kind of in that a little bit, but what I'm finding more and more, and I'm going to use this as an example of this way that tends to happen with powerful women. And my intention is to share with you, for you to not only see yourself here and to know that you are not alone, to receive a few nuggets of insight and things for you to consider, but also maybe some invitations. So stay with me. And my intention is to be succinct, but I'm just going to be really honest and say that I can be a verbose speaker and I can get into different streams of consciousness, but I will call myself back. Some might call that an undiagnosed ADHD. I'm inspired to create this video because it's everything that you're experiencing is all mirroring something back to you. And often the things, if you're in a situation like me, where you are in a thought leadership role, you are a speaker, you are a writer, you a coach, you advise people, what we are often talking about are things that we are learning, not necessarily for the first time, but they're often the things that are very present to us. That's just how the mind tends to work. And what I've been really present to, and what I feel like is another layer of my own work, inwardly and outwardly, is just continuing to see how caged in women are. And I don't mean this like victimizing us, because that's not how I want to look at it. And that's not how I want to sit with it. And that's not what I'm encouraging. And it's important to acknowledge things for the reality that they are, so that we don't also take that on, because I think that's part of the challenge, is that women are so highly capable and are such high producers that we also often think that the things that are not working are all us too. Like we created all those conditions. And it's not the case. What we're living in this world are constructs that were not built for women. We're living in a world that is not equitable. We're living in a world that has women having to do a lot more and achieve more, and just everything, that the requirements are not the same. So however, whatever industry you're in or however you relate to that might look a little bit different, but the ethos underneath that is pretty much the same. And so I'll give you an example. So for me, every job I've ever been in, I have overthought it all. And I thought it was just being a perfectionist or being a Virgo. It's some of that, but it's also because there isn't a relaxation. Um, there isn't a confidence that comes with women the way that it does with the man because the expectations are totally different. And I found myself writing in my journal today. I've been doing daily pages and I wrote something like the maternal is not all feminine. There's a lot of masculine energy that is required in the maternal because the maternal is taking care of a lot of things and people. So what I mean by that is you are not only being so hard on yourself and likely collapsing a lot of things into being on you or some deficiency of you or some opportunity that you have or some character defect or something you have to get better at. And the reality is that you're not meant to do it all on your own, and you are actually so fucking badass because you have been kicking ass and taking names in environments that were not built for you, where you were not given the upper hand, and where it just the odds were not in your favor. So, in a practical world, on a practical playing field, like well, the thing that I'm aware of the most right now is because of that internalizing, because of that over responsibility, then we take responsibility for everyone and we often leave ourselves out, right? So let me see if I can think of an example that would be easy to explain that would make sense and be valuable right now. So I was having a session this morning with my mentor, my embodiment mentor, which has been a lot of inner family systems, nervous system. She's a very powerful, gifted practitioner. And I was sharing something with her that I can't really remember all the details, nor would it really be relevant for this video. But I had this awareness that I know what it was. It was an email that I sent to her where I was acknowledging something to her and between her and I, but I wasn't including myself in that. What I mean by that is like there was an acknowledgement of what was right for her, but I wasn't acknowledging what was right for me in this particular situation. And in that moment, I had this awareness of like, yeah, like including myself is not is not something I do naturally. It's something I have to remember to do. And that's just a small example. But when I think about like you, for example, and whatever role you're in, I know that I keep thinking like I've had many of examples in the last 2.5 years of having to be confronted by this. And that is that thinking that I'm w- comfortable with vulnerability, thinking that I'm okay to share things, thinking that you know, I can be more transparent. And what I have been finding is that it is not actually very comfortable for me to share where I feel like I'm not being successful. It hasn't been as comfortable for me to seek support in certain ways. I don't always feel like I have that available for me because of just where I'm at and what I'm doing and who I know. But my point is that, and I think that that's a bit of a human condition thing of really opening up and asking for help and being vulnerable in that way. My concern, though, is women that are in these roles, especially in organizations, in positions of power, where you don't feel like you have an ally, where you don't have somebody that you allow yourself to really be yourself, to like just not hold back, to trust, to know who has your back unequivocally. And this is a real opportunity because if the environment isn't necessarily going to change anytime soon, we're living at a time and space in human history that has been an amazing dialing back of honoring, protecting, and safety for women. And the workload is not getting less. The pressure is higher than it's ever been. So if you don't feel like you have somebody that you can, that has your back, that you can, and that understands, that also can understand what you're going through, that's also key. You might have a partner, you might even have a really good friend, but if they don't really get what you do, what's going on for you, that can feel very isolating. And so I want to acknowledge that. I want to validate and affirm that. If you're relating to this, I hope that this is making sense and it's landing. And there's two things I want to share. One is, first off, you are not alone. And that's why I spent the beginning talking about what we were born into and these constructs, because we were born into this. This is not something that you created. It's not something that I created. It was not created by women. It was created by men. And consciously and unconsciously, they have continued to build environments that do not really support and respect and honor women, which is why there's plenty of statistics around pay and everything. So that's our reality. And then we have babies, and then we're the caretakers. Like, there's all those things that have been part of the conditioning of this world we came into. And then you have all your unique choices that created the life that is probably very full. I didn't even get to be a parent, and my life has been completely taken with the caretaking of both each of my parents, who my mom passed away now almost 2 years ago, but my father, and neither of them live near me. And it has been, I'm on the phone with my sister every week about my dad. So it's like, that's real. And then there's you. Then there's actually you and your life and your joy and your purpose or your pleasure or your dreams. And that's really what I also wanted to share, is that, it's a little bit of like, I got you, I see you, you're not alone. And it's also a little bit of the truth talk. It's like, no one is going to save you from this. No one is going to be able to bring the can opener, the perfect one to get you out, because you consciously and unconsciously specifically designed your situation for you. And I'm bringing that forward as also with empathy and compassion, because a lot of the predicament and the extenuating circumstances around how you experience your life is not on you and was not something you designed, but it is part of your experience and it is part of the environment, and a lot of it isn't changing. So you're probably thinking, yeah, so thanks for just telling me what I already know. But this is really about being a call of like, you have to choose you. You have to start choosing you. And that begins with that being a commitment to self, even if you don't know what that means, you don't know how to do that, you don't know what that looks like. You have to choose you. You have to decide today is the day that you are prioritizing yourself, because I don't care what is going on in your life. There is nothing that you can truly serve from an empty cup. We give the most beauty and actual well being from an overflow, not from a piece over here that you found. Meanwhile, your well being or your sense of self is, needs a lot of care. And this is really the human condition, but I'm encouraging that. Like, this is really first the invitation that it's time to choose you. And that can happen in a myriad of ways. The beginning is choosing it, it's deciding it, and then it's about exploring it, because you don't have to do it all alone. That's what's important. You have to choose for you. You have to make the decision, and you have to keep making that decision for you. And you are the only one that can do it. But you do not have to do it alone. You are not alone. And it begins with getting to know yourself. It begins with understanding your habits and your patterns and your defaults and the things that you're not taking care of, or the things that you're not hearing and listening because you weren't taught how to listen to your body or how to pay attention to what that might mean. I mean, there's so many things we're learning more and more about now that are becoming a little bit more mainstream. But like, your body absorbs everything and it's always speaking to you. But no one taught us how to listen to our body. So unless that became your path, you don't really probably even know what that means. But I share that as a nugget because it is there for you. Every area, I actually created a video about this, I think, earlier today, but it's like every area of your life that doesn't feel like it's right for you, that is just data. It's just data and it's feedback, and it's trying to make itself known to you. And we all have an inner operating system. We all have an inner operating system, and there are many parallels among humans, but we also have our own unique system. And what I mean by that is, I know for me, I grew up in an environment where there was scarcity, there was lack, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And so I have had a propensity to see what's not there versus seeing what's there. So when I share with you that all the ways that your life is not working is data, that's a choice to see it that way. On the other hand, you could be like, yeah, my life is, I don't, it's not this, it's not that, I don't like this. No, it's just about choosing to see it as like, okay, this is information. And also recognizing that it's like, oh my God, it is hard to be alive. Not like poor us, but the human journey is not for the faint of heart. And if you want to be awake and you want to live a powerful life, you you don't not have what you need. It's there. But you're not living in a world that not only has not taught that and modeled that, but doesn't even really consciously understand what that means. Why the personal growth industry is like $1 billion industry, and because there's a million books and all of that, and I'm part of that. And it's there because we are so desperate to find answers, but yet we're not necessarily shifting that. We learn how to brush our teeth, we learn a K through 12 education, we learn all these things that are standard, but we're still not learning some of these things that I've shared here as standard, and it's really hurting our playing, our even playing, or just our basic foundational playing field. So I share that as, again, another area of hopefully you recognizing and seeing yourself in that, and also recognizing that, if you feel overwhelmed, that makes sense. And it's okay to like, just, okay, I'm overwhelmed, but it doesn't have to be the end story. And once you decide to choose yourself and to start exploring what that is and becoming more connected to who you are and learning more about yourself is key. Getting to know who you truly are, what matters to you, what's the question that you have been trying to answer a lot of your life? What is the signature belief that has been driving you? I mean, I'm throwing out various things, and these are all things that could help you get to know yourself better. And really, where I'm coming from is, this is, we do advance and ascend and transcend and progress. And this that I'm talking about never ends until we stop breathing, because this is part of what we came here to do, to learn and to grow and to become more revealed to ourselves. And I love that, but I realize that doesn't always necessarily land, but it's, again, a choice on how you want to see it. So I just want you to know, wherever you are in your life, that you are not alone, that you are inhabiting an experience as a woman that is very common among a lot of powerful, high producing, highly capable women. And what starts to shift it for you is when you start to choose and recognize that you are the common denominator of your life. You are the leader of your life. Everything that you want to create is going to come through you. Every goal you have, every aspiration, everything you want to do, all of it is coming through you. So the best way that you can prepare yourself and prepare the conditions of yourself to be able to support you in that is the work, and to, invert that energy. All the ways that you've just been giving it and giving it and giving it, paid and unpaid. It's like, just like, invert those lines back to you and start exploring what that could look like. I could go on and on about this, so I'm going to really start to wrap this up. I just wanted to put this out there. I'm in a version of it myself right now. And maybe I'll just share this brief story, and because hopefully it'll also give the context will give a little bit of, will support what I've been saying. But I started running a business online 2.5 years ago, which is something I've never done before. I have held all kinds of leadership roles inside organizations. I have a lot of experience. I have a master's degree in spiritual psychology that has employed me with a skill set that, in my opinion, and I mean this humbly, is a elite skill set that most people do not have in this lifetime. And I've been able to apply it for 25 years, and it has helped me immensely. It has helped me personally, it has helped me professionally. And I'm still on my journey. I'm still on a path of learning. And there's still plenty of things you cannot learn until you get there. And there are a lot of transferable skills, but there are a lot that aren't. And then there's the whole part of, like, being with yourself in a new adventure that you have no experience in that terrain by yourself. Like, just recently I had this awareness of, like, wow, I'm like, not only am I trying to do it all myself, but I'm trying to, like, manage all the parts of it that I'm not even giving credit to. Like, just how I schedule my day, and then how I could internalize that, and the things I've been struggling with in that, and then the repeat of, like, not doing what I wanted, and then having that dialogue, and then getting better at not making myself wrong, but it's still a dialogue. And I just had this awareness yesterday or this morning of, like, that's why people go into jobs. That's why people work on teams. That's why people are in partnerships. It's hard to do all that, but it's when it's just you, it's not necessarily easier. And I don't mean that like as a solo to do by yourself. Yeah, that clearly can be not as, it can be more challenging. But I mean, inwardly, unless you are really type A or really OCD, and that's how you actually find your foundation, because some people are just really acute like that, and that also helps them feel safe. I would say most people, especially if you don't have that tendency, don't have that. And having to show up somewhere is actually helpful. It's whether even if it's on a Zoom meeting, it's a structure that supports you. So that's something that I'm working through. That's one little sliver that I'm working through. And what I mean by that is just recognizing the pressure, and that if I wanted to actually be the executive that I have been in this case, and put that mindset over my business, I would say, okay, I need to, like, really see it all. I need to see it all. Like, how I would consult an organization that is, oh shoot. I think that's my cue to wrap this up. Sorry about that. What I was saying is that how I would consult an organization would be to, like, it's like doing a SWOT analysis, right? You need to look at everything. And when you're a high achiever, you've been an overproducer, and, like, your whole life, there's so much we're not seeing. So I could keep going in that lane. I think I've made a couple of points that hopefully add a little bit of color and texture to what I'm trying to say. And I just want you to feel seen. And I want you to know that you are not alone. And I want you to know that you are fucking amazing. And this is your one and only beautiful life. And you don't deserve, you earned it by arriving here to live the life that helps you feel more alive, to live a life that honors your heart and your soul and your body. Every single human being came here, and that's been part of the gig. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with me. I'd love to hear what resonated with you, what landed, what didn't land. Feel free to share with me. I do have a couple of ways to work with me in the description. I always add in my videos, whether it's a private one-on-one advisory session. I also have a protecting your energy course that is a nugget. It's a mini course. It's all audio, but it helps you understand a little bit more about energy and your nervous system and ways to support yourself that become more about the offensive versus being in the defense of the world. And that's a whole other video that I won't get into right now, but more to come. My name is Jennifer. I'm here every day to remind you that your power is your truth. See you tomorrow.